I don't think I've played a better platformer on my PC than Ori and the Blind Forest. Nay, I don't think I've played a better 2D platformer in my life than Ori and the Blind Forest. It's easily one of my favorite games of all time, and yet it's criminally underrated. The game generated little to no buzz across the internet, which is extremely upsetting considering how masterfully constructed it is. And that's why I'm bringing you this review today. I want to express my thoughts on Ori and the Blind Forest in hopes more people will spread the word about the game. Let's begin with a breathtaking story. The game doesn't favor complicated cutscenes or long dialogues to convey the plot. Instead, everything is consistent and flows together. The short cutscenes always flow into the gameplay seamlessly. From the moment a leaf is blown off of a glowing blue tree in a storm, you see just how powerful the storytelling is. Words that describe the events fade onto screen with a blue splash behind them. They're spoken by the tree in a deep, resonating way, so they feel important and meaningful. But a lot of the time, the game relies just on the visuals to show the plot. In the opening of the game, you just see a leaf fly off a tree into a forest with some amazing music to fit it. Immediately after, you take control of a plump, lonely creature named Nayru who finds Ori, the leaf, and takes her into her shelter. The story then transitions to Nayru and Ori picking fruit together as the player takes control of both Ori and Nayru to get these fruit. It shows the player just how intimate Nayru and Ori have become. It's touching and effective. After about 3 to 4 minutes into the opening, a cataclysmic light envelops the sky and sets the forest ablaze. The player then takes control of Nayru, who walks the path that used to have trees covered in round fruit. Unfortunately, there are no fruit to be found, so Nayru trudges back to her home where Ori lay sleeping. The screen fades and you take control of Ori, who has managed to scrounge up some fruit. As you walk back to the cave, you see images of Nayru and Ori playing together, eating fruit together, and living together. And as you enter the cave, Ori tries to give Nayru some fruit, but Nayru doesn't take it. She lies there, not moving, and once Ori realizes her efforts to give her fruit are, well, fruitless, she mourns for the loss of her mother. This moment is the most touching scene in any game I have ever played. By showing those flashback scenes when Ori walks back to the cave, it cements just how important Ori and Nayru's relationship is, and it foreshadows the inevitable. It did more than just reduce me to a weak, crying mess. It made me think about life itself. Ori tries to naively wake up Nayru like any child who had just lost their parent would do. Ori is still so young and hasn't realized the magnitude of death. It feels like she's only been with Nayru for mere seconds, but that's the message the game is trying to convey, that nothing lasts forever. It's so powerful and compelling that at only 5 minutes into the game, something clicked and I just couldn't stop playing. And if you weren't already convinced to keep playing the game, right after Nayru's demise, Ori jumps into the forest and hobbles her way down a path and dies. But like any cliche game where the main character dies in the opening, she gets revived by a tree. Although this moment is admittedly cliche, it's still compelling. It made me engrossed in the world, and it's that atmosphere that really causes you to continue your adventure to revive the dying forest. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, that's the overarching plot of the game. You have to retrieve 3 different elements spanning a variety of locations, and despite how simple it may sound, it's actually quite amazing. Ori and the Blind Forest is filled to the brim with charm and polish. Every area has a slightly different background and color palette, but that's just enough to make every location stand out among the others. The watercolor art style that reminds me a lot of Child of Light works perfectly for the aesthetics. It brings about beautiful yet simplistic visuals that help create this mysterious mythical forest setting. And the small additions to the foreground like the shadows of monsters and other things help create a living, breathing world. Plus, the backgrounds look stunning. I cannot stress enough how spectacular this game looks. But the visuals are only one part of it. There's also the stellar music. Each track adds to the immersion and captivates every emotion. When something sad happens, the music dies down into faint violins and a prominent piano melody. And when something astonishing happens, like the tree reviving Ori, the music swells with a loud choir of violins and horns. It mixes with the graphics and the gameplay perfectly. Like every single aspect of this title, the gameplay is phenomenal. It's engaging, it's fun, and it's challenging. Ori and the Blind Forest is an adventure platformer similar to the likes of Super Metroid and in some ways Child of Light. However, Ori expands on the Metroidvania formula but keeps things simple in the process. As you progress through the world, divided into different areas by their presentation, Ori eventually becomes stronger with new abilities. In the beginning, Ori is just some weak imp with no attacking power. She can run and jump, but that's about it. As per any video video game, Ori receives upgrades that allow her to jump up walls, double jump, and use a flame to attack enemies. This flame is also a character that provides a lot of the tutorials. The flame itself is pretty useful. It obliterates virtually everything in its path with the simple push of a button, and it's so satisfying to watch your enemies explode into a mass of orbs and purple smoke that I found myself going around the world to kill enemies for the fun of it. It sounds messed up, but it's rewarding to do so as the experience orbs you pick up grant you new skills like triple jumping and a larger flame radius. But you can't always just go around killing enemies willy-nilly because a lot of them will release a toxic ball when they die that damages you. And since Ori's health is limited and can be depleted fairly quickly near the beginning, killing enemies requires a bit of thought. The enemy designs are also really interesting and look amazing, so it's sometimes heartbreaking to defeat them. Other than that, the level variety is so diverse. There are secrets hidden everywhere, so Ori and the Blind Forest has a lot of replay value to it. But I should note that the replay value doesn't come from replaying the game after you finish it. This is because there is no way to re-enter the world once you defeat the final boss. Nevertheless, it's very easy to get sidetracked in this world. I know I was so immersed in the world that I found it hard to move on and progress in the story. The charm of the overworld itself was enough to encourage me to go back and just explore areas again and again. If you couldn't tell by my praise, Ori and the Blind Forest is outstanding. I'm at a loss for words because of how brilliant this game is. It delivers an experience like no other game I've played. It made me care about characters only 5 minutes into the story, and it's so touching and emotional that I think there's something here for everyone to enjoy. Plus, the platforming is fun and the combat is really entertaining. There's so much to love about this title, and for only $20 on Steam and the Xbox One right now, it's definitely worth the price. Don't hesitate, buy this game. You will not regret it. It's a masterpiece. It's near flawless. It's a 10 out of 10. The only other game I gave a 10 was Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but now I think I may have overpraised that game. This sets the standard for modern masterpieces. I cannot praise this game enough. I love it to death. It's an easy contender for my favorite game of all time. But if you disagree or agree with my opinions, let me know in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to never miss any of my new content. And as always, thank you so much for watching and take care. Have a wonderful day and goodbye.